Very rarely do I make any videos on a Sunday, so happy Supreme Sunday. I'm gonna give you a quick story for today. Figure these guys deserve a good one. And I'll straighten up some other things as well. I'm gonna stop with all the mentioning the names because those guys haven't got any views since they started mentioning my name. They use the 1,400 subscribers, but they can't make money unless they get views. These guys had an expert author on and got 111 views. As soon as he mentions my name, he's got 560 views. You can add that up, right? The situation, not the numbers. So these guys are clowns. Okay? I don't even know the first thing about editing any of this stuff. I needed somebody that was gonna come on and do that. He needed somebody to help him build the channel. He was on since 2011 and couldn't do anything because he's into bullshit politics. The same thing with the crackhead in Connecticut. He went on, asked me, I helped him build his channel. He couldn't get off. Can you do me a favor? Come on the channel with Stack Show. We'll call it the Hootie and Stack Show. Same thing. When I left both channels, I told both of them, if you got the subscribers, shut the channel down and start from day one like I did. Idiot in Detroit, donut shop, biker gang member. Biker is a gang member. He's still in the biker gang. Threatening to call. He actually has the. I actually put that out there. Who has the FBI's number? Somebody says you get the number and you end up getting the weather when you call up. This guy legitimately has the FBI's number. It's crazy, right? And he threatens. They threat. Never once do you see me come on here, threaten somebody or say I'm going to physically harm somebody. I stick up for myself. I'll always do that. That's just me. If I ever get in trouble for that, so be it. So this clown in Detroit wanted to make a show into a comedy show. I told him no. I helped him. I built it for him. He thought it was a good idea out of nowhere to come and attack me because everybody else was. It made everybody look good. That they're all, I'm the common denominator here, right? No. So they jumped on the bandwagon like everybody else. Do I lie in any of my stories? Absolutely not. Are they exaggerated? Absolutely not. A few things may get missed here and there. I just found out that the most feared and powerful Gambino captain kept me around because I was a clown. Guy never even laughs. Thinks it causes wrinkles. Plus, he doesn't think anything's funny. And there's a rhyme or reason that anybody is around somebody in that life. I say it all the time. The guys I was around, they probably didn't even like me deep down inside. Behind closed doors, to me, we were brothers. But there's no lying. We got a big show coming up in the fall on the Vlad. We're doing a big show with Vlad. I'm in correspondence with him right now. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a big deal. And you'll find out a lot of information on that show. Because we probably, things we've spoken about, but you've never got it really broken down to you. Usually going to get it broken down, that interview with Vlad. Just to go to show you, I bring Stacks with me. Never been around anything. He's never really had anything, never really owned anything. Dressed him up, took him to the city, just to try to get the guy a little bit. He's got anti-anxiety. He can't be around people. He's got some kind of weirdness about him. So I try to break him out of that little shell. Embarrassed himself. Embarrassed me, Vlad. But you know what? I took it on the chin. I said, no, it's no big deal. I said, I'm trying to help the guy. I mentioned it on the show. Vlad himself said that I'm probably the only guy that mentioned 3 different people on that show. I actually mentioned everybody on my platform, but some of it must have got cut out. I probably went too far, right? Because everybody is always making it about themselves. I was home for 4 years and never said a story. Never brought a word up about my old life. Where I lived, not a single person even knew who my name was. Anthony, that's it. That's what they called me. And somebody comes to me from my old life and says, what's wrong with you? He says, there's guys on this YouTube telling stories that don't even make sense. And they're making money, whatever it was. Because I hadn't follow the money, follow the paper trail, tell everybody, and I'm going to show you the minus that I am in this business. I haven't made a quarter. Not on no fake. Listen, if I had the money to hire lawyers, to hire people, to open up fake charities overseas or anywhere else, I wouldn't be doing YouTube. I wouldn't be working. Okay? So I would love to know wherever that money is, just send me a piece, send me an end. I don't know. I didn't get a piece of nothing. So, like I said, these guys already had established channels. They threw my name on it. Got 1,400 followers on one, 2,000 on the other. But none of them, they can't get the views. If they don't get the views, they're not going to make the money. Okay? One wanted to be in front of the camera like he was, I don't know, Brad Pitt or something. He got a chipmunk on his face. Another guy, call the cops if I come to his mother's house. Threatens to fight me in a cage. This big idiot. And then threatens to call the cops on me. He and this other guy. I'm so glad that Vlad understands that, one, he's a professional. Two, that these guys are imbeciles. So not only does Stacks make a fool of himself the day we go to Vlad, he can't even sit still. He's like a child. The noise that he was making in the back, how many times they had to stop. And Vlad himself had to ask him, can you just, quiet down like a child. So, this I come to find out. JC, the munchkin face, and Stacks, both. This guy, by the way, the wording, the lettering, I do voice text. I don't even write my texts out. So I don't care about comments. I don't care. This computer thing, it's not my thing. It's never kept the roof over my head. It's not going to continue to. I don't care about it. So I do voice text. People call me up all the time. Important people, not important people in my life. Smart people, not too smart people. And they all complain about my messaging. I don't care. Most of the time, the phone's in my back pocket. I'll do voice notes through my AirPods, and that's even worse. One, JC writes a letter for somebody that didn't even ask him to write a letter for them. So not only did he write a letter for himself, he writes one for somebody else that didn't even ask him to. I won't mention that person's name because that person's actually a good person and they don't deserve to be joined into this. I'm not even in the business 5 minutes. And the two guys that I tried to help, that nobody knew who they were. Nobody still knows who they are or where they came from. One guy that claims to be a part of the Detroit Mafia that's never been in Detroit. Like I said, I needed a stooge. That's no big deal. Another guy thinks that crack's not heroin, so it's okay to smoke crack. Okay. Whatever. But that's me. People say, why stop extending the olive branch, stop extending the hand, stop it. I'll always help people. Those bad words go around about me all the time. I'm the common denominator, I'm the troublemaker. No, I got a bad ex who's bitter. Something I have no idea. We haven't been together in years. And we haven't even been in the same room together. Besides probably writing statements against me. But bitter, chasing after a guy who makes minimum wage. She talks about Deb. I'll tell you, piss in a cup with anybody, but we go checkbook for checkbook, and I'll show you all the money that gets taken out of my checks that goes to where it's supposed to go. Some rich claiming to be big shot. Okay? Every dollar they get, and then some. I got more court dates coming up. They don't tell you about that. No. I can't tell you how many times I've been reported this whole weekend because I was threatened to be dead or in jail by the end of tonight. So, Supreme Sunday. These are the people. They go on, they make the threats, the accusations. I got nothing to do with you. You got nothing to do with me. Move on. They personally call people and drag your name through the mud. And they did one thing right that they may have found out inside about this person. That, first of all, 80% of men will believe anything a woman tells them. Maybe not even know her from a hole in the wall. That's just men. They're just weak like that. They'll say, I'm not weak. I go read people well. Yeah. Can't read a book. Forget about read somebody well. So they believe it. They get this one little thing about them, and then they swear you're pillow talking. This person that you haven't seen in 4 years is around ripping you up. Go somewhere. The jealous people think that you're famous because you're on YouTube, because you're writing a book. I offered my book proceeds for this person to go away, that they think that there's so much in it. But they get so jealous if they think that you're everybody. The guys in the street. There's another story I'm going to do, that people in the street that are upset with me now. That I was doing just fine staying away. I was no good when I stood away for 4 years when I came home. Now I'm a rat. Anybody that does these things, I don't care what you did. I don't care if you did 4,000 years on your head. You come home, you go on YouTube, you mention one name, one word, you're no good. Nobody is. So that's what this is. This is entertainment. But I'm going to give you the truth. Any story I give you has happened, has been done, and I know it to be true. All right? If I'm going to tell you that I went to Mexico, and one half of the story, and then I'm going to tell you, but I didn't get a connect. Why would you think one part of that's a lie and the other isn't? Pick a better one. This is what I try to tell you. Guys are out there telling you guys stories, right? And they're saying, we're going to stop starting trouble. This is for the kids. I'm here for the kids. Okay, then pay attention. Because I read the comments. I don't watch the shows. But then when people point them out to me, then I'll watch the shows and read the comments. These don't make sense. You don't. If it's for the kids, where's the message for the kids? Because none of the messages is telling the kids how they can stay away from it, what they should do. You don't want to know why you ain't been around in 20 years. You don't know what it is today for kids to get in trouble. It ain't the same way it was for us. There ain't a social club or a pizzeria or a candy store on every block. It's different today. Where there was recruiting grounds, as we used to call them. Those don't exist. And you just don't get in Cosa Nostra, the mafia, as you would say it. So stop saying this is for the kids to stay away from the mafia. There is no mafia to stay away from. Now it's family, friends, people that are part of that life that get involved. And that's another thing. You keep saying the life is dead. Like, okay, what are you telling me the life? Like, that's what they keep saying to me. I never claimed to be a gangster, so stop telling me about the life. I don't say that word and put me in that category. And what does the life being dead have to do with me? They think like because the life is dead, that takes away who I was. You can't change my history. You can't get change getting punched in the face. It doesn't. It's just the way it is. I don't need the life to be alive for me to be somebody. And so it makes no sense when people say that in an argument or a disagreement. Life is dead, so what? Okay. But remember, the life may be dead, but the people aren't. They're alive and well and walk in the streets. And I see them, I get messages from them, speak to some of them. And you know what? Now I'm a rat. But I consider myself a rat from day one. I know what I believed in. I didn't have to take an oath for it. Other people feel that they didn't take an oath, so they didn't rat. I didn't take an oath, but I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to be. I was away from it for 6 years. Yeah, I came around once in a while. I consider guys my friends, but I had nothing to do with the life, and I still got picked up. So all you people that I'm the common denominator here, right? And it's everybody else against who, right? I'm not crying about it. Can you just go to the U.S. Attorney's Office and tell them that this is all a lie? Can you go to the state, tell them I'm a bullshitter, that everything they've got on me was fake? They could give me back my old life, but not that life. I could take my legitimate record, my credit back the way it's supposed to be, no felonies, get the right job, move to the right place, meet the right woman, and have a good life. So why don't you all get together and get my felonies taken away? Tell them, this guy's a lawyer. He's only there for entertainment. They didn't like him. They kept him around. I'm the court gesture. They kept me around because I'm a clown. Never knew I was that funny. But why can't you convince U.S. attorneys this? And the prosecutions in Queens, in Brooklyn, Manhattan. Get all my felonies taken away. My life back. but not the life. Just me, clean record. Get it all right back to where it's supposed to be, right? Living life on life's terms, right? And the teaches about that. Because when people keep telling you things about we're here to help the kids, they never give you teachable moments. If you pay attention to my shows, and I'm not saying that I'm the best, because I already know I am. I don't need, that's just my confidence. I always give guys and women teachable moments. But now I'm watching shows and listening to people say this is for the kids. And I'm hearing about corner stores and shoveling snow. And where is the kids' message in that? And then it's the adults that go on and support this because you want to hear and feel the nostalgic of it. Then put on an 80s movie. Support something that's really against this life. Support things that are really trying to put people in the right direction. Support somebody that if they're making money at this, they got a scholarship fund open for these kids that can't pay their way through college, or the kids that if they really know what's going on in the world today with student loans, for the next 10 years of the guy's life, he's breaking his whole, working 2 jobs, whatever job he's interning that he's starting at, and maybe a waiter job or a bartender to pay these loans back. All right? Get these teachable moments. That's what I call them. Teachable moments. Because you watch all my videos, they all come back to being the same. All right? A lie. A lie changes 1,000 times. Can never change the truth. That's why I tell me you can't change history. Because if you could, take away my felonies. Give me back my name. I'll try to grow up the right way. I'll do it all over again. And I won't commit crimes. Oh, suppose I didn't do them anyway. But just listen to these guys. Then just say that you're watching their show because it's nostalgic. It brings back memories. You like to hear about Tetris and Nintendo. And when a neighbor used to be a neighbor. There was no teachable moments in anything that I've heard out there by people that are claiming to be teachable. Mentors. And I'm not claiming to be any of that. I'm here to give you stories about my life. I sat on my hands for 4 years, and then years before that in jail. Never. My first show, you could tell. It wasn't that I was scared or nervous or couldn't do this. I can get in front of anything and talk. I felt uncomfortable because I never did it before. There's and this is where it went bad for me. I went after Vito Love. Not after, but I wanted to abuse him because he left 3 guys I know, 2 that I've known, 1 very well, and 2 of the other stand-up guys in a fight when it was 3-4 against 1. Because he didn't want to lose his good time on a fucking skid bid in the feds, which you got to get on your knees. And thank God that you even got a skid bid in the feds. And I'm over here with that train of thought, because to me I'm Hootie, I just don't commit crime. To use, I'm Hootie who never committed crimes. I was just a clown that kept me around. I don't know, the guys were out there killing each other. I don't know, I kind of had a new car every year, new watch. I mean, it's not bragging, but you can't change it. You can't change the past, you can't change the future. I keep telling you that, you can't change it. You can't change your future. I mean, you just don't know what that means. Meaning, my past is where it's going to bring me to here today to tell you these stories. So you can't change this. I'm not going to go anywhere else with it. This is how it happened back then. This is how it was. If I'm going to tell you I went into Mexico, I'm going to tell you I got to connect. I'm going to tell you I had a pipeline. I'm not going to tell you I went to Mexico and failed. And make that the lie of a story. This is the intelligence of a guy who's telling you he majored in English. And you should have read his letter to Vlad. Embarrassment. Now he might even have a chance to get on because of this whole fiasco that everybody's created on this YouTube. Embarrassment. How did they even get my email address? How did they even know how to get in touch with me? I says, come on, that's got to be the easy part. Getting in touch with you. How to get to you? I don't know that part. They shouldn't even bring it to your attention. Embarrassed. A guy claiming to be part of an organization, and he's never even been in the city where the organization was built and the only place the organization operated. and actually put me to beef with somebody that was actually from Detroit, which I had no problem with that man until he went on and wanted to be the only guy from Detroit, and he used my name and everything that he wanted to say about this guy. And then it just spiraled into something between me and this guy that didn't know each other. And for that guy to come out bullshit and tell bullshit lies on top of it, because that's 80% that will listen to somebody over the phone and get that scared and run and believe it, is the same person that is going to come on and give you these bullshit lies about their life, because this is entertainment. The problem is their story isn't that entertaining. I didn't know mine was until somebody came to me and said, it's more than entertainment. You got to get on there and tell it, because they haven't even made movies about the shit that you know, the shit that you've seen, the shit that you sat down and listened to. Why didn't I do this 4 years ago? And I wasn't even ready for my own channel yet. I was producing. I was helping somebody. And I got these two stooges that needed help in life. And I stepped up for them. Then this idiot donut shop, fat slob biker, wants to turn into the comedy hour. He didn't know what he wanted to do. I helped him. I got his channel off the ground. I never said another word to the guy. Nothing. Didn't ask him for $1. Nothing. I said, you show me bank transfers. Show me the trail of money. And then you want to jump aboard and throw threats and panty sniffers at home. I mean, things, guys, you make, listen, it doesn't even sound right. You're not even funny. And then threaten to call the cops on me. That I'm bothering you. Who's bothering you? I don't even pick my phone up. And these guys emailed Vlad. One guy emailed himself, and for somebody else that didn't even know that he was doing that for him. Thought it was a mockery, an embarrassment. And I said, I take that, because that's where I'm at in my life right now. To me, it's not an embarrassment, because I stuck my hand out to help two people that didn't deserve it. But I think everybody deserves a second chance. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing with my second chance. As long as I get up every day and I know I don't want to be a criminal and I don't want to commit crime, I'm good. And I've had that mentality since even before I came home from jail. I knew what I wanted to do. So I could say it's even before I stepped out. Has a crime passed your mind? No. I'm okay. I'm good with the way I live. I'm fine. So my second chance, if guys want to turn around or girls want to turn around and think that they're making me look bad, or all of a sudden now you want to come out talking bad about me when things were rolling and things were good, no, you weren't talking bad about me. When we was in the streets, I didn't see nobody calling me a fucking clown. And I was in the streets 7 days a week. Somebody knew where to find Hootie. If I was at the club, I was at the bar, and I didn't even drink. You knew what car I drove, so you knew if you seen the car, it was me. You knew the routes I walked when I did walk. But whatever, right? So I go in, my mentality, I just don't commit crime anymore, but I still stick up for guys who I think are my friends, right? I don't talk bad about the guys that consider me an enemy. I don't talk bad about guys that I'm around today. Like, I just had this conversation with somebody. Like, sometimes you got to open people's eyes to things because they let their ears get shut to other things. Women. It's always a woman. So if somebody comes to you and tells you that you're being talked about and you're with that person every day and you know that person's enemies and you never heard that person talking bad about his enemies, what sense would it make that that person has got your name in his mouth? Right? Teachable moments. I'm here for that. Not going to change the future. The past can't do that. Teachable moments. If you don't hear a man talking about his enemies, the man ain't talking about you. I do not talk about anybody. I know where I stand. I know who I stand. I know what I stand for. I wish that you can go and tell these lies to the government and the state of New York that I am a good boy who's never done anything wrong. I was only a clown. That's why the most powerful captain in the Gambino family kept me around. That's why I was respected by a guy who could have took over the Bonanno family as boss. That's why I ran around with the largest and the biggest and the quickest, deadliest drug dealers in the city and other cities, because I was a clown. It's to make everybody laugh. Well, usually, at the end of the day, that clown ends up with one behind his head because he knows too much and he's only a fucking clown. But you wouldn't know that because you was never really ever in the streets. Ever. Ever. You got a guy that's telling you he did a bid. He don't even know why he did a bid. Told you he was in a gang, but they don't know what they did. When I interviewed him to see if he was okay to do this, it made no sense to me that he was in a gang that did nothing. I'm trying to think of the cons. I think he said he robbed a book bag once with a gun in it. He sold drugs once. I'm like, I didn't understand the concept, I guess, of a gang in the 2000s. And then I don't know how long he was in the gang, but it made no sense. But it was another stooge. Can edit, can do this. And if I can help keep him clean, there's a bonus. I couldn't help do that. The other one's a burnout. He's going to smoke pot until he's burnt out all day long. But his glass stations, sunglasses. But I'm not fighting with nobody. I got no beef with one person. They all got beef with me. And one, they'll never, he can tell you he's got 17 English major awards, or whatever he wants to say in college that he has. He'll never could win a war words with me. This doesn't work that way. Just not built, he's not built that way. But again, it's a clown show. He needs the views because he can't get money. Those are my subs sitting there. Not mine. Supporters that jump ship because they should have unsupported the channel, but they didn't because they want to be there. It's a free world. I don't lose any sleep over it. I did the same thing on the other end. And when I said, people saying, oh, Sammy had 500,000, this one had that. I'm sorry I even said his name. I apologize to that. I don't want to say nobody's name. This one had that. This one had that before they even put up an episode. That was my point. Wednesday or Thursday, I had 400 subscribers. By Saturday, there was 1,000. Meant the fastest as in episodes and growing like that. I didn't have the fastest channel. I got 1,000 subscribers. There's no money. It's a big deal that you got that much support for people. That means a lot to me. There's no money involved. No awards involved in this. But it's a big deal for a regular person. That's who I am. I'm a regular guy that just been through some things. And if my stories can help you get through your day, so be it. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it out there like this. And you'll get the honest opinion that I have on others, and you're going to get the honest about me. So, when you listen to a guy say a story's a lie, listen to the whole story. He said he went to Mexico. He said he didn't get a connect. Came home. Now, if that's the one you're going to pick to be a lie, he said he went to Mexico. He said he met a cartel member. Cartel member was scared of him because he was in the mafia, hooked up with him, shook the cartel member down, got a pipeline for cocaine into the U.S. Then that's a lie. But that's the story that needs to be told. But that wasn't the story. Didn't get any connect. Didn't work out. Lesson learned. That's all it was. And I shared that. They should have picked another one, like another story. Because when I got to point these things out to people so you can see the bullshit, that's when you get caught out there. And I could rip every one of their stories apart, every one of their lies apart. Can't change mine. It happened. Can't, like the past, you can change history, but it ain't gonna be true, right? Try to change history. Can't, right? I know people say you're gonna change history with all these stories and can't change it. The past is the past. It's not gonna dictate my future whatsoever. So, I should have never got involved with the Vito Love situation. He left 3 stand-up guys and another guy in a fight. 2 guys, they're in the same family. One of them knows him since he's 5. The other one is in his crew. And I'm going in and I'm trying to play Hootie. I was being Hootie. And I'm not Hootie anymore. I'm Anthony. Hootie's a name brand now. That's all. I'm Anthony. That Hui, them days are over. But, I just think because I'm not committing crimes anymore that I'm okay. No, my mentality's got to slow up a little bit too as well. I got to stop jumping the gun. So I went in there, tried to abuse the guy by being in there, and what do you have? That's cracking heads open. That's all bullshit. I know guys that are going to do it, guys that aren't going to do it. And like I said, if a fist fight's a fist fight, that's not a big deal. But I should never did it. Because the guy that I did it for thinks I'm a rat, considers me a rat. And maybe one day I'm going to tell that whole story. And then we'll get the paperwork, and we'll put the paperwork up, and we'll see. You can read the real paperwork. And what I do now makes me a rat. What I did then made me no good. And I turned around and I went in and I tried to make something out of nothing. And I involved a civilian that I shouldn't have, because he had nothing to do with it. Don't know the guy from a hole in the wall, and I almost caused a problem for him. But that's settled now. He had nothing to do with it. It was me, and that's over with. It's water under the bridge. I shouldn't have opened my mouth to begin with. Like I said, it was a mistake. I did it for a guy that I thought was a brother. He's not. I guess I'm an enemy to him. He's nothing to me. And I'm a rat in his eyes. So I don't know where I was thinking on that. And I was pretty clear-headed when I did it. The situation, because all parties involved I knew for a very long time. Just say that. So it was just emotions were running that day. I knew what I was doing. I don't regret it. It happened. And it was a lesson. It was a teachable moment for myself. So when someone says they're doing things for the kids, look for their teachable moment, because I haven't seen it yet. That's all. If you want to write that it brought back memories for you and this was great for you, all right, but let's help the kids if that's what we're doing, right? Me, I'm bringing awareness to what went on when people were like going to college and people were working a 9 to 5 and putting their 20 in with the city. All the guys are putting 20 in their bid. Like, that's all. And people were like, wow, man, I was doing this, that. Well, that was news guy and that was that. And this was that. And this guy was having the time of his life in jail. And you were at the Super Bowl and that guy was having a great time of his life. And you were in Vegas. And that's all this was. To me, it's nostalgic for some people. And it's knowledgeable things for things people that don't know. They get it wrong. I gave you the story the other day. They wrote a movie about it, and they got the whole thing wrong. So it's just awareness. So I'm going to give you a quick one, right? We never talk about the toughest Gotti. Just never, listen, I spoke about him the other day, and we're going to actually speak about him more in another episode, because this isn't going to be too long, this one. But Little Peter, John Gotti has a younger son. We called him Little Peter. I used to call him Uncle Pete, because he always acted, like fatherly towards us when we were all hanging out, when I finally became friends with him. It wasn't that we were enemies. It was two different neighborhoods, two different parts of the same neighborhood then it became at one point. And he was a legitimate tough guy. I don't care. They say it was the last name. He knocked people the fuck out. He beat guys up. He knocked people out. I know he used to train in No Guts, No Glory, the big boxing gym in my neighborhood. He was a boxer. He boxed, knew how to boxed a little bit, not as much as others, but he boxed. Strong like a bull, built like one, knock your head off, poked a few guys, cut a few guys, opened up a few guys. He wasn't a gangster, never got straightened out. To me, when I met him in his part of his life, he wasn't into that. That wasn't his thing. People could say other things about him after me and him haven't seen each other in a long time, or before I was friends with him. He was running around terrorizing Ozone Park. He did. He terrorized every park and tried to terrorize 88 Park. He did a little bit. He terrorized a few of them, but he didn't get us. We got the best of them. And he didn't get punked when I took his pipes. He thought it was funny. And I was a new name, even though we got beef going way back. He just didn't remember that beef. That was the first time I ever seen, I told you, his father in front of the club. It was the late 80s. It was a quick story. That was all that was. But that was something he didn't remember. I'm sure maybe now, but we didn't put two and two at the time. I was that 16-year-old kid that robbed the pipes from him. I was 110 pounds at the time. Wise ass, whatever. He was no punk. He laughed it off as one of those things. It wasn't like he got bitched. He definitely didn't get bitched. Nobody was bitching Little Peter. And even if he didn't have the last name. He fought all the time. If you ever see him, he's got more scars on his hands than a boxer. And on top of how they used to torture each other at card games with cigars too. That was another thing. But he locked guys in dog cages for days. Left guys in basements tied up over. He tried to live by the rules. Women, things like that. I can tell you he did. There's a lot of things that he did. And he was definitely a stand-up guy. I don't care what anybody says about him. He couldn't stand drugs. Couldn't stand woman beaters and rapos and like everybody else. But he hated drugs. I can't tell you. I mean, and I was a drug dealer. We were friends, but at that point I wasn't a hand-to-hand drug dealer like that. So he didn't really know my business and never asked. But we were both big card players. We played cards 5 times a week. We were together a lot. We were at his club a lot. And I seen him put guys down. And he was known. The generation before me that were older than me, where his beef started. Knocking those guys out. No problem. So it wasn't his last name knocking guys out. It was his hands. He's a legitimate tough guy. He didn't play around with guns or nothing like that, but he'll stab you, he'll cut you. You had the baseball bat, you're hitting you in the knee or a little on the arm. He's cracking your fucking head open. Peter was a tough guy. I don't care what anybody says. I don't have a problem with Peter today. He may not have liked what I've done. I don't know if he's even involved in, street life. He never was. He was always looking to open businesses and do things like that. So I don't see him. He was always trying to take care of his neighborhood. He tried to keep the drugs out of Howard Beach. I told you he was the one. Him and Junior, they locked the gates on 207 Park. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. One of the guys that tried to be around them was kind of selling some like tray bags, very small weed business. I think another kid was smoking a joint. They beat all the kids up in the park. The kid that was selling drugs was probably about 6'5", 250. He was known for being a tough kid too. Boom, boom, boom. Junior blasted them all over the place, knocked him out. They blasted the other kids. This is just for weed. Now, a lot of people say, the last name. Listen, in that neighborhood, everybody had a last name. You could fight back. You hit guys with your hands. You know what I mean? Like this, everybody had a last name in that neighborhood. So when people say that, I get a little like on the fence about that. Because I don't think he expected you not to fight back. He was no punk like that. He was a legitimate tough guy with his hands. And in other ways, too. Where guys wouldn't hit guys with it, he would. So when you got the balls to poke somebody, cut somebody, and fucking baseball bat somebody, I see a lot of guys freeze up. So I tell people that talk shit on this internet. Like, it gets real when somebody walks up to you in a restaurant or a bar and punches you in the face. It's real. It's happened. I lived it. I've been punched in the face. It happened. And it's going to happen. Like, things like that. If this is the life and the world you want to live in, it's going to happen. The life is dead. The life is over. Furthest thing from the truth, the life isn't over. But you can say it's dead because it's not in the media the way it used to be. But the people aren't. Just always remember that. That's a very teachable moment for all you YouTubers. It may be dead, but the people aren't. Okay? And on that note, we're going to get to another tough guy. Oh my God, was this guy a character? Michael Marco. Just by me saying his name, his head is spinning right now. Okay? Michael Marco was one of the biggest characters you could ever meet in my neighborhood. Oh, he was a Howard Beach guy. I met him. I was young. I can say I was young. He was into sports. He was older than all of us. I don't know. What would he even say? He would think that we were the characters, probably. Right? He was always playing handball, playing basketball. Good athlete. Not great. Mediocre, but he was older than all of us. I heard that he was sick. I hope that he got better. I heard he got hit with COVID pretty bad. But he used to do a little bookmaking for Junior. Was always afraid to get 10, 15 years later. He hasn't touched the phone. He was always thinking they were still coming. Used to park in like an 82 Buick in front of $1 million home. Yeah, used to hang out with this guy, Stan the Man, the guy's name was. They were good friends, I think. He wound up buying his house. It was a little beat up in Howard Beach. And, not married, no children, nice guy, Nice guy. Crazy as fuck. Crazy as fuck. And not crazy as in Google crazy. Crazy all around. Come to the card game with money that just came out of the wall. I know you've always heard rusty money stories. This is wall money. That means it was wrapped up in cellophane inside the manila envelope and stuck in the wall. And would come in, buy and say, if I'm even saying numbers, his head is spinning right now. $5,000. Cash me in, Hootie, $5,000. This was my own personal game. I used to have my own personal game. I had. Yeah. I wasn't a mega. This was my game. It wasn't made. We had an apartment. It was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful game. Cash me out. 5,000. Okay, man. Cash him, give him chips, 5,000. Big buy-in for that game. Alright? Got 15 guys waiting. 2 hands go around. Alright, cash me out. Cash out. What do you do? What do you mean? This guy's waiting. Alright, okay. Hey, wait. I'll go to take the money out to cash his chips out. No, let me. He wants to pick the bills. I realize all the bills he gave me got 1981 on it, 1982, 1983, from when he used to earn in the streets on the bookmaking money, or he Shylocked a few dollars, and he was wiping his money at the game. Oh, his head's spinning right now. He used to walk around with sweatpants on 2 sizes bigger than him. The only guy used to be around Tommy sneakers with a mustache. He had a mustache. Always had a mustache, a little mustache. Nobody ever said anything to Michael. Michael will be walking up the block talking to himself. But I can tell you one thing. He'll knock your fucking head off your shoulders. And we were in a bar. Was it the bar or the pool hall when he knocked? There was 2 instances. One in the bar, he knocked the guy was a legitimate boxer. I think it was the pool hall where he hit the guy through a fucking window. Another guy, what was it, the baseball bat? Legitimate tough guy, Michael Vlad. Legitimate tough guy with his hands. Don't play with the thing. The whole one man arm, didn't run with a crew. Used to answer phones for Junior, how he started when he was younger. And then he made enough money to go out on his own. Worked. And then, never got married, never had kids. And saved all his money. Never bought new clothes. Never bought a new car. Used to ride his bicycle. Had nobody fooled. Same skippies from the 80s. Baggy tank top in the summertime. 2X sweatpants no matter what. 1982 Buick if it was the winter time. An 81 Buick. A 30-year-old car. And a beautiful $1 million corner home in Howard Beach. All bricked up. I don't think anybody's ever sat in the living room. I went to him one time for a loan. He used to loan out money. It's like going to the bank and getting a loan on a house. This guy. He wants letters of recommendation. But, again, my affiliation. So instead of telling me my affiliation, I'm pretty sure he's probably told that story. He gave me the fatherly advice. Hootie, what are you gonna do? You used to talk like this to me, Hootie. You gotta talk and whisper. What are you gonna do? You're gonna get yourself jammed up. We're friends, Hootie. Man, you didn't need the money for. He wouldn't even look at you. What do you need the money for? You don't need the money. You got money. You got a brand new car. You look at my car. He goes, I don't loan out money like that. I'm like, Hootie, you don't want to do this. By the time he gets done whispering to you, you're fucking aggravated that you even asked him for the loan. That's the way the streets work. You may need a quick 10,000. You may need a quick 20,000. Listen, I was upside down with the bookmakers all the time. I told you what that lesson that I learned late in life, what athletes were doing. If I would have got that lesson early in life, I would have never had to borrow a dollar. We were ghetto rich. That's all we were. Hood rich. That's what they would say. They wouldn't call it that because we would call it we were guys in the life, but we call it hood rich. One day you're a millionaire in that life, a legitimate millionaire, and the next day you're going to the Shylocks for money. Or maybe you don't want to touch the money. Maybe you got to put it somewhere nice. You found a good spot. I tell you, the Italians, they find the spots that money never comes out. I found a few spots and I never wanted to touch the money. I'd go on the streets for it first. Because I never in my life ever borrowed anything over 2 points. I never borrowed anything under a point. But a guy like Mike, I would give 2 points to. But he never, I knew it was, I don't even know why I did it. I knew there was no shot. Vinny gave it to me in 3 seconds. Gosh. 3 seconds. I know how much. And took it for what I needed it for, flipped it, paid it back. I think I had paid 3 weeks on it. And that was Michael. Michael, nicest guy in the world. Help you shovel your car out. Can't give you a ride. Again, never had a car. Maybe on his bicycle or his 82 Buick, maybe. Walk to the park. Won't take his car. Like I said, when I actually was offered me a hot dog, the grill was never even opened yet. Everything was brand new. He lived. I don't even know if he slept there. I think he probably still slept by his parents' house. Like everything in the house was brand new. He just built himself a house with the money he put away. The greatest character ever, but would take your fucking head off if you had a beef with him. And if you owed him $300, because I know he probably took action, which I'm telling you, the guy's head's spinning right now from this story. Michael Bettamarco, I'm going to go back. We're going to do a story on Little Peter. We're always going to be doing stories on Little Peter because he had a lot to do with me coming into the life. And even though he never was in the life, he had a lot to do with me coming into the life. And we're going to tell you about all the knockouts he's got. But Michael Bettamarco, if you would give him money and write on it how much it was, the date, and put it somewhere for him in a mailbox. Very secretive. I mean, this guy could have worked for the CIA. They were never getting this guy. You know, and a bookmaker in Shylock. That's it. Nothing else. We'll never get involved in anything else. Like I said, he's the type of guy where his head is spinning right now. So you give him that money. You pay him. Go back to him in 3 months to borrow money. He gives you the money. You'll see one of those bills with the same number and the same date on it. He's loaning you back the same money that you were paying him juice with the whole time. Never spent $1. You ever walk in a place, I ain't got it. I'm down the block. What I got? And I come out the house with nothing. Legitimate millionaire. And everybody knew it. Nobody fooled. The same sweatpants every day, the same baggy tank top, the same jacket, the same haircut, the same thin mustache, the same... Come on, you fucking kidding me? Where's the fucking money? You don't want to do this. Come on, are you kidding me? Same. Couldn't fool nobody. The whole neighborhood, whole Ozone Park in Howard Beach, no. Funny, too, to watch him get yelled at by a wise guy. And Michael's one of those guys that don't let that happen to him. You know, he talks to you. He's a weird dude with a little bit of respect. You could talk to him because you don't really catch on to a few things. But if you're trying to embarrass him with disrespect, he'll take your fucking head off legitimately. Guy's a legitimate tough guy. And on top of that, he was a beast. He worked out, and he exercised, he walked. So I'm sorry that I heard that he was sick. That probably took away a lot from his lack. You know, he loves to work out, loves to walk. I tell you, I've never seen the guy hardly ever driving his car. And it was an 82 Buick in front of $1 million house. Who knows what the house is worth today? He probably been upstairs. Probably out of his fucking mind. Shylock, bookmaker, but he wouldn't never tell you that. At the end of the conversation that I had with him, he said, well, I don't want money out anyway. Why are you asking me? At the end, halfway through, I started numbing myself out. Because that's what Michael will do to you if he asks to borrow money. And I don't think he has that probably, if he ever booked a bet, it's probably never over 500. And he's going to chase you for that 500. No, there's no end of the week. That 550's got to be there. He's going to be in front of your house 24 hours a day. And you can't live in another neighborhood and bet with him because he can't get to you. He's not going to do that. He was a neighborhood guy, neighborhood bookmaker, Shylock, but I don't know anybody that's ever borrowed money from him. Oh, no, I may have known someone, or put a bet in with him. He must have had just like legitimate housewives betting with him, or, you know, working guys, because I don't know anybody else. But was always, don't talk, never owned a cell phone. You could never get, but you just knew where to find him. He was playing ball at the park, or he would walk a certain way by his house. Or before he had the house, we used to always catch him by the bagel store on Crossway Boulevard. Never in a restaurant, never out to dinner, never in the clubs, never in bars. When he was younger, yeah, that's where he knocked the boxer out. I think it was at the bar. There was 2 knockouts that I remember. One was in the bar, one was in the pool. One went through the window. The bar one, he didn't go through the window. I think the pool always went through the window. I seen him knock out plenty of guys. I seen him hit guys on the basketball court, knock guys out on the handball court. The funniest character would show up to the card games, and he was a decent card player, tight. It wasn't that he was good, you know. And another thing, he wasn't a made guy, but he knew all the bosses. If they lived in that area, were friendly with the acting boss, the Lucchese family. top of the chain in the Gambino family. All liked him. He grew up in the juniors era. He's very good friends with all of them. The Bananos, he's right up around the corner from Joe Messina. Knew Joe Messina on a personal level, but never got involved. Never into bullshit. Always gave out respect. Always got by respect. Very weird guy. Friends with everybody. Friends with everybody. Walking around with the same XXX jogging pants, XX jogging pants, baggy tank top, same jacket, same hoodie, same skippies, tied skippies, playing basketball in them all day. Not clean guy, showered, always good hygiene, but just try to fool you with the sweats every day and the tank tops, but nobody was fooled. And you always knew where to find them. You would walk, like I said, never at the clubs, never at the restaurants, never in the bars, nothing. Knew the whole neighborhood. It could have been like the mayor, like the mayor of Howard Beach, Michael Bettamarco. If you're out there, Michael Bettamarco, brother, keep being you, because you did it, I guess, the right way. You know, didn't get involved in the bad stuff, bookmaking and the Shylock, and got along with everybody. You went to work on a few tough, I know a tough guy you went to work on, legitimate tough guy, you gave a beating to. You didn't want to. He pushed you. You didn't want to. You let it go. Money, talking, whole situation, and what'd you do? You gave him a beating. I know you don't like it, and when I had this conversation with him, he didn't even want to take the credit for it. He didn't want to take the credit because he said, Rudy, I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want it to come down to that. That's the type of guy he was. These are the legitimate guys that are forgotten about. Legitimate tough guys. Not legitimate. Legitimate tough guys we forget about in the neighborhood. Because they weren't shooting and killing. But he was a character. He was a fucking character. I'm telling you. You pay him with money. You write the date on it. He gives you that same money back in a year. That shows you. He hasn't spent $1 in a year. He probably hasn't spent $1 since the last time I seen him. It's probably been 10, 12 years. Oh, it's over 10 years. What am I talking about? Last time I seen Mike, about 12 years ago. Probably hasn't spent $1. Won't eat out. Just not his character. Not his character. Michael Bettamarco, bookmaker, and Shylock. Dead mad at me right now for making this video. That's the type of guy. He's human that I brought up a neighborhood, because he's a neighborhood legend. He's, those guys are legends in the neighborhood. Stand-up guy. Everybody knew him. Didn't bother nobody. Mind his business. Talking to himself while he's walking up the block. Just thinking he ain't no dummy. May look like one, but he ain't one. Take your fucking head off. So with that.